Chapter 7. The Well. I returned to the cave at midnight, and quickly fell asleep. The next night, Elsevier and I went aboard the Bonaventure, and we left the Dorset coast for the Isle of Wight. Early in the morning, we were already walking in the streets of Newport, and soon found the Bugle Inn. The owner of the inn remembered Elsevier and was very kind to us. He gave us a big, clean, sunny room and lots of good food. Elsevier was a prince among the smugglers. He was out most of the day getting information about Carisbrooke Castle, which was now used as a prison for French prisoners. I remained at the inn and waited for him. He was a clever man and made friends with the guards of the prison. He entered the castle a few times and saw the well.
"I wanted to get to the well without telling the man who looks after it,"
Elsevier said.
"but it's impossible, because I need his help. I don't trust him, but I had to tell him about the treasure in the well. He said he'll help us if we give him some money."
"When are we going to see the well?" I asked.
"Tomorrow morning at 6,
said Elsevier. The next morning we left the Bugle Inn before 6 and walked to the castle. It was a hot, rainy July morning, and we got wet. The man who let us in was big and tall and about 30 years old. He had black hair, and I didn't like his eyes. He took us through many rooms, and we finally got to the well.
"Who is going down into the well?"
asked the man.
"I am,"
said Elsevier, holding a long rope. "No, Elsevier," I said. "Let me go. I'm smaller and lighter. Please."
"All right, John, go on, but be very careful and don't look down,"
said Elsevier.
"You can't trust a boy down there,"
said the man, looking at the well.
"John isn't a boy. He's a man, and I trust him,"
said Elsevier. I got into the wooden bucket, and Elsevier tied an 80-foot rope to it. He and the man lowered me gently into the well. As I went down, it became darker and colder. I had a candle to help me see the wall. At the end of the rope, I started looking around. I moved my candle along the wall to see if there was a hole or a hiding place, but I couldn't see anything.
"Have you found anything?"
the man shouted. "No, nothing," I shouted back. Then the bucket moved down a little and I continued looking. Suddenly, I saw the letter Y clearly marked on a stone of the well. It was the symbol of the Mahoons. I moved the stone a bit with my hand and then pulled on it. It came out of the wall, and I saw a small hole. I put my fingers into the hole and pulled out a tiny bag. I opened the bag slowly and found a diamond as big as a walnut. It was Blackbeard's diamond. I had never seen a diamond before, and I turned it between my fingers. It was beautiful.
"What are you doing?"
shouted the man.
"Have you found something?"
"Yes," I shouted. "I found the diamond. Pull me up." They pulled me up quickly, and at the top of the well, I saw the man's face.
"Give me the diamond. Put it in my hand."
"No," I said. "Let me get out of the bucket first."
"Let the boy get out of the bucket,"
said Elsevier angrily. I climbed out of the bucket with the diamond in my hand.
"Give me the diamond,"
cried the man.
"You found it in my well, so the diamond is mine."
Then he turned to Elsevier and said,
"I know who you are. Your name is Block, and there's a price of £50 on your head.
I quickly put the diamond into my pocket. "Careful, Elsevier," I cried. "He's got a gun." The two men started fighting, and although Elsevier was older, he was much stronger. As they fought, the man slipped on the wet stones and fell into the well, screaming. We heard a loud noise when he got to the bottom. Elsevier was sad, because he did not want to kill him. I started thinking of Grace's words. The diamond is evil. It has a curse on it. I looked at Elsevier and said, "Let's throw the diamond back into the well. It's evil, and it has a curse on it." Elsevier thought for a moment and then said,
No, no. You're good and honest, John. Give me the diamond and I'll keep it for you. You know you can trust me.
I gave it to him. When we got back to the Bugle, I went upstairs and lay down on the bed, trying to rest and think. Elsevier was downstairs talking to the owner of the inn. When he came upstairs, he said,
It's dangerous for us to stay here, John. There's a Dutch ship leaving for Holland tonight. The owner of the Bugle knows the captain, and he'll take us. The city of The Hague is the most important market in the world for diamonds.
So, a few days later, we arrived in the port of Scheveningen and stayed in a small inn with some sailors. One night, Elsevier pulled the little bag with the diamond out of his pocket and said,
Here, John, you keep it. It's yours. Remember, if you become rich because of this diamond, use the money to rebuild the poorhouses in Moonfleet. That's what Blackbeard wanted to do with it.
I put the diamond in the locket around my neck, because it was the safest place. When I was alone, I often opened the locket and looked at the beautiful diamond and dreamt of becoming rich and marrying Grace. But then I always remembered Elsevier's words. Since Elsevier's mother was Dutch, he could speak that language quite well, and he asked around about diamond dealers. He learned that most of the diamond dealers lived in one part of town, and the best one was Crispin Aldobrand. He was rich, he was a good dealer, and asked few questions. He was the right man for us. Chapter 8. The Diamond Dealer. One evening late in the summer, we went to Aldobrand's house before sunset. It was a small white house with green shutters and a little garden in front of it. He lived in this neighbourhood with several other jewellers, but they had no shops. They usually had a sign above their door, saying that they bought and sold jewels. A little old man with white hair and a white beard opened the door. He was at least 70.
"Well, gentlemen, what do you want to sell?"
He asked us in English.
"Please remember that I buy only good diamonds, no toys."
Elsevier answered,
This boy has a diamond to sell.
I had the diamond in my hand and gave it to him. He looked at it carefully and brought it close to his eyes. Suddenly, his face and his voice changed. His eyes shone as he looked at the diamond.
"It's too dark here. I need more light,"
he said.
"Follow me."
He went upstairs, and we followed him closely because he had the diamond in his hand. He went into a room with a big window, a small balcony, and cupboards and shelves. There were small black boxes and books on the shelves. He sat at a small table and looked at the diamond. Then he held it up against the light of the window. He looked at me excitedly and said,
"What's your name, young man? Where do you come from?"
"My name's John Trenchard, sir, and I come from Moonfleet in Dorset." He wrote this down in a big book. Elsevier looked at me angrily, and I immediately understood. Why did I give that man my name? I didn't know that this was going to change my life.
How did you get this diamond?
Asked Aldebrand, touching it with his finger.
We're not here to answer questions,
Said Elsevier angrily.
We came here to sell a good diamond. We're honest Englishmen. Do you want to buy it?
Well, I must test it before I decide to buy it,
said Aldebrand. He opened a cupboard and took out a bottle of green liquid, some scales, and a black stone. He weighed the diamond, rubbed it against the black stone, and then put a drop of green liquid on it. As I waited for Aldebrand's decision, I stood on the balcony and looked at the small garden with tall red flowers and a pear tree. How much money is the diamond worth? I thought excitedly. £10,000, or 50,000, or perhaps 100,000. Suddenly, Aldebrand turned around and said,
Gentlemen, this diamond is not a diamond. It's only a pretty piece of glass. It didn't pass any of the tests. First, it's too light. A diamond is heavier. Second, it didn't make a white line on the black stone. And the green liquid did not become orange when it touched the diamond.
What?
Said Elsevier, who was very disappointed.
I can't believe it.
But I can give you £10 for it,
said Aldebrand, looking at us carefully.
£10?
Cried Elsevier angrily.
We don't need £10. This diamond has a curse on it.
He took the diamond and threw it out of the window into the garden. Aldebrand stood up and cried,
"Ah, you fool! Why did you throw it out of the window?"
Elsevier took my arm and pulled me out of the room and down the stairs. He was very angry as we walked back to our inn.
Leave that diamond alone, John. It's cursed. It has brought us bad luck.
No, Elsevier, the diamond is ours, I said. And it's not a piece of glass. We were fools to believe Aldebrand. I saw his face and his eyes when he looked at the diamond. He knew it was a precious diamond. We must go back to Aldebrand's garden and find it. I saw it fall near one of the tall red flowers. I can find it. I'm sure I can, Elsevier.
No, John. Listen to me,
said Elsevier.
That diamond's cursed, and it will bring us more bad luck. Forget it.
Please, Elsevier, I said excitedly. Let's go to Aldebrand's garden tonight and I'll find the diamond.
I don't know, John,
he replied. Elsevier finally agreed with me, and that night we went back to Aldebrand's house. Everything was dark and silent, and we saw only one light, in Aldebrand's upstairs room. We climbed over the garden wall quietly, and I started looking for the diamond near the tall red flowers. But it was gone. Aldebrand's already found it, I said softly. He knows it's not a piece of glass. Now, I'm going to climb on the pear tree and look inside his room.
I'll follow you,
said Elsevier.
But be careful, John.
Don't worry, I said excitedly. I climbed up to the balcony and saw Aldebrand sitting at his table, looking at my diamond. I was very angry because Aldebrand had stolen it. Without waiting to ask Elsevier what to do, I jumped through the window and into the room and put my hand on the diamond. Elsevier was behind me. Aldebrand screamed.
"Thieves! Thieves! Help!"
Suddenly, 6 big men who were Aldebrand's servants came into the room and hit us with sticks. I fell to the floor. I saw Elsevier fighting bravely, but then he fell too. Chapter 9. A Storm at Sea. Elsevier and I were taken to prison, a horrible Dutch prison. During the trial, we told our story to the judge, but he did not believe us. He believed Aldebrand, who told a very clever story.
These Englishmen jumped through the window of my room and wanted to steal one of my precious diamonds,
said Aldebrand, looking at the judge.
Liar! Thief!
Shouted Elsevier.
That diamond was ours, not his. He's a liar and a thief.
The judge turned to us and said,
You two will spend your life in prison for this crime.
Elsevier did not complain, but I was furious. All of my life in prison, I thought. I'm just a boy and now I'm ruined. Was Blackbeard's diamond really cursed? As we were walking out, I looked at Aldebrand and said, Good day, Mr. Aldebrand, liar and thief. That diamond will bring you only evil in this life and in the next. Elsevier and I were soon separated, and I rarely saw him. The prison was cold, dark, and dirty, and there was only bread and water to eat. Every day the prisoners had to work hard to build a big fort nearby, and that is what we did for 10 years. These were long, difficult years, without a moment of rest or happiness. Then one morning, when I was a man of 26, a guard said to us,
You're leaving Holland and you're going to Java to work on the Dutch sugar farms.
Is this my future? Working and dying on a sugar farm in Java, I thought, angrily. I'll never see Grace or Moonfleet again. Blackbeard's diamond was cursed. That morning, I saw Elsevier, whose hair was now white. We were very happy to see each other. He was going to Java too, on the ship called the Aurungzebe. We left Holland with bad weather, and it got worse every day. After a week, there was a big storm at sea, with tall waves, strong winds, and rain. As Elsevier and I looked towards the shore, we suddenly understood where we were. We couldn't believe our eyes. Moonfleet Bay. Soon the ship started sinking. The prisoners and the guards were terrified because they knew nothing about a storm at sea. But Elsevier, who had lived his life on the sea, tried to help them.
Don't take the lifeboats,
he cried.
You'll never get to shore. Stay on the ship until she gets to the bay near the beach, and then jump. Listen to me. I was born here. I've seen hundreds of storms in Moonfleet Bay.
But no one listened to Elsevier. Everyone tried to get into the lifeboats, and they all died in the rough sea. Elsevier and I stayed on the ship until the last minute.
John, listen to me,
he said loudly.
Jump when I tell you. The men on the beach will throw us a rope, and we must catch it before another big wave comes. Remember, the big waves are dangerous because they'll pull you back into the sea. Goodbye, John, and God save us both.
I held his big hand and waited to hear the word jump.
Jump now!
He shouted suddenly. We jumped into the rough, cold sea, and we could see the men on the beach with the ropes. I was very cold and weak. Elsevier caught one end of a rope and said,
Take this rope!
He pushed me onto the beach with his strong hands. He saved my life. Then I heard a big wave coming behind me, but I couldn't turn around. A minute later, I was lying on the beach and I was shaking with cold. A crowd of men and women stood around me, but I couldn't speak. I remember that some men put warm blankets around me and carried me to a fire where I fell asleep. Was this all true? I thought as I woke up. Am I in Moonfleet and a free man now? I was lying on the wooden floor of the Why Not Inn, and I heard a voice say,
Elsevier.
Elsevier, I said. Where is Elsevier?
Who's asking about Elsevier?
Said a voice I knew. It was Ratsey's. Don't you remember me, Ratsey? I said, sitting up and looking at him. I'm John Trenchard, who left Moonfleet long ago. Where is Elsevier? Ratsey's face became white when he saw me, and then he came to me and shook my hand warmly. He asked me many questions, but I wanted to know about Elsevier. Ratsey spoke very softly and said,
You're the only person we found on the beach.
That's not true, I cried. Elsevier was close to the beach when he gave me the rope and pushed me forward.
Yes, he saved your life, John,
said Ratsey.
But a big wave got him and pulled him back into the sea.
No, no, I cried in despair. He saved me, but he didn't save himself. Oh, dear Elsevier, I won't see his face or hear his kind voice any more. I loved him like a father. It was almost morning, and I put a blanket around my shoulders and went back to the beach. I wanted to find Elsevier's body. There was no sign of the Aurungzebe, but its wreckage was all over the beach. Ratsey came to the beach too, and sat next to me.
Eat this bread and meat, John,
he said kindly. I wasn't hungry, but ate the food slowly, looking at the sea. Then suddenly I felt strange. Elsevier is coming, I thought. I can feel it. The waves were bringing his body to the beach, and I ran towards it with Ratsey following me. I knelt down by his body and touched his face and hair, then I kissed his cold cheek. The men from Moonfleet who knew him came to the beach and carried him back to the Why Not Inn. There they laid his body on the long table. I sat next to Elsevier's body for many hours, and many memories came to my mind. Then I started thinking, I have lost my only friend. What can I do now? Where can I go? I felt lost and terribly sad. Then someone touched my shoulder. I turned around and saw a tall, beautiful woman standing behind me. It was Grace Maskew.
John,
she said.
Have you forgotten me? Didn't you see the light at my window?
I could not speak.
I'm very sorry about Elsevier,
she said.
I know he was a brave man with a kind heart, but do you still love me, John?
I took her hand and said, Dear Grace, of course I still love you. I've always loved you. But many things have changed. You're a noble lady, and I'm a very poor, unlucky man. I told her about the diamond and about my 10 years in prison.
John, please don't talk about money,
she said.
There are more important things in life. Forget Blackbeard's diamond. It was evil.
Grace and I talked for a long time, and then she left. Shortly after, Mr. Glennie, my old teacher, came to see me. He took out his prayer book and said some prayers for Elsevier. Then he took a piece of blue paper from his pocket. It was a letter from Crispin Aldebrand's lawyer in Holland. It had arrived 8 years before when I was in prison. The long letter said that before dying, Aldebrand wrote a will and left all of his money to John Trenchard of Moonfleet. He explained that the diamond was real and that he had stolen it from me and Elsevier, and now he was very sorry. The diamond had brought him a lot of bad luck.
Well, John, you're a very lucky young man,
said Mr. Glennie, smiling.
There's no longer a price on your head, so you're a free man. And you're a very rich man too, with all of Aldebrand's money.
I was very surprised and did not know what to say. Suddenly, I wasn't poor any more. How strange life is. Mr. Glennie and I talked about Aldebrand's will until midnight, and then he left. I spent the night next to my great friend, Elsevier. This is the end of my story. I received all of Aldebrand's money, but I did not keep it for myself. With Mr. Glennie's and Grace's help, I rebuilt and opened the poorhouses, and built a new hospital and new homes for the people of Moonfleet. Part of the money was used to improve the church and the school, too. I became an important person in my village. Grace and I got married, and the old Mahoon mansion became a beautiful home again. We have 3 lovely children, Elsevier, Grace, and John. We live happily in Moonfleet and never leave it. When there is a bad storm, I run down to the beach with the others and try to help the men at sea. Sometimes we cannot help them, and we see them die. And each time I stand on the beach with a rope in my hand, I remember dear Elsevier and how he saved my life.